So in New York, DoorDash is now going to pay $16.75 million to settle tip misappropriation lawsuit.
Misappropriation.
Misappropriation.
Go.
No.
It was here. Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, in this case, DoorDash was not transparent, and they stole tips from 63,000 drivers in New York.
That's legit. That's
yeah. So essentially, what they did was they used the customer tips to subsidize delivery workers' base pay.
But didn't give the tip.
Yeah. So let's cut the tip down.
Wow.
And raise the base. So they probably weren't getting the right, but they were probably getting the right amount of money, right, that they were promised. However, DoorDash was not paying that money. It was coming from the customer. So although the same amount of money was going to the driver, $12 for the delivery plus including tip, DoorDash only paid out $2.50 instead of $3.50 because the other dollar came from the customer. So I guess they really technically didn't get paid the same amount of money, which is why they're paying $16.75 million. What's going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tincup here with another episode of The Barf. This is your look back at the week that was, so you could be prepared for the week that is. Basically, we're going to try to make you smarter. How's that sound? Is that better?
I like that.
I'm giving it right. So what's going on, brother?
Expectation.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's what we do in life. So
I had merit badge college yesterday, so I taught, and Van took movie making and digital technology. So all is well in the world.
Is he a producer now? Executive producer?
He shot his movie, and he takes integrated media and design thinking at school. So. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. What badge did you get? I didn't do anything this weekend.
I
just
art and painting as one, and communications and public speaking as one.
Oh,
so
public speaking.
4 merit badges.
What did you teach about public speaking? That's what
it was so great. I got the kids. These are all like 13, 14-year-olds. And so I got them. I said, give me a topic. I don't care what it is. And it was mid. So a girl says, topic's mid. So let's talk a little bit about mid. Mid is, for me, is the word average. Y'all say mid, I hear average. So when I interact with my son and he says mid, I already know what the translation is. It's because he's taught me. I can also look it up and blah, blah, blah. So I just started talking 5 minutes. And so once I get done, I said, you can talk about anything. It's just got to be something that you then
You just have to have the bullshit factor.
That was my nickname in high school.
We once walked through the HR tech floor.
Is that shark? Is this the shark story?
The shark story. Through the monster, but this is probably 15 years ago at this point. And somebody had asked you something, and you told a whole story about a shark.
That's right.
It's like you have this in your back pocket waiting to
great.
Go.
It was so great because the guy was like confused the entire time. And he's got the camera, he's got the mic, and he's doing the bit. And I'm like, yeah, let me tell you a little bit about sharks. And I just went where I wanted to go.
Such is life. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. There's a lot.
We got some good stories.
Next barf, we'll be able to talk about March Madness,
hopefully,
and all of that good stuff. But for this barf, we're just gonna make people smarter and talk about it. Break it out.
We got some good complimentary stories. So let's start with news. Breaking news. Ryan, women spend 8.6 years working for every 10 years logged by their male counterparts, contributing to a gender pay gap that amounts to about $500,000 in lost earnings per each woman analyzed. And what I found, first of all, this is at McKinsey.com, so go look at that. I haven't seen this particular type of data. I'd always seen the 83 cents to $1, it kind of makes it small, like, and not insignificant. but kind of makes it small. It's like, oh, it's 83 cents. Yeah, it's $1.17. Like, why are we even talking about it? Now, when you talk about it in the context of $500,000 lost, okay, that's legit. And so when I'm looking at mayonnaise, the report has so many cool stats in it. And I was reading it. I thought to myself, I've never really met someone that's against pay equity. I've met some people that are, a lot of comp people that are like, how do we get there?
How do you make it happen?
How do you make it happen? I have run into that at conferences. And so like, I get it, but this particular stat I just love because it's like, your wife, my wife, she's going to lose $500,000 in lost earnings. That's legit. That's legit.
Yeah.
Might we think differently about pay equity?
Not something I want to lose.
No, hell no. But anyhow, go to the McKinsey.com and look it up because it does have other stats that are fantastic.
All right, I've got one. I took I took a different route this week. Instead of talking about the EEOC laying people off, lawsuits and people getting laid off and all this other stuff, I went with them product releases and some other things. So Coach Hub Coach Hub is now collaborating with Microsoft to launch what they're calling AIMY, AIMY. AIMY is the world's first conversational chatbot. So this is not like an AI assistant. It is, but it's not. It's actually conversational. So you set the tone, you set the voice, male, female, pick the avatar, like the whole bit. You pick it and you do it. And so this brings training into the ranks of the employees. So it's not just for executive coaching or anything like that. This is for everybody in the organization. And I've seen demos of this. And what's great about this is that as you're doing something, I'm doing something and it's giving me feedback. I can say, I can have it be chat based, but if you want it to be audio based and conversational, you legit you're looking at your person on your phone, like you're looking at her or him or whatever you have as the avatar.
It gets awkward really quick.
And you're talking. It's like, so this is my dark mind, right? You rubbed off on me a little bit. So I love this. Like,
why does she have a Hooters shirt on? I don't know.
Yeah, like I want this. So now my thought is, at what point do people get? Now I know there's going to be controls over what avatars people can use. Yeah, that. But at what point is an employee going to build a relationship with their coach?
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's
actually fall in love.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
That's fantastic.
I'm just saying.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. I mean, there was guys that were falling in love with their flesh dolls. So, I mean, if you could fall in love with a blow-up doll.
Oh, my God.
I'm pretty sure you can fall in love with AI.
How do you take such a great product release and do this? You're killing me.
There's nothing wrong with flesh dolls.
Oh, my
I'm just saying.
God. Next topic. Move on.
Did you get the hidden meaning?
In what name? In AIMY?
Yeah.
No. What's the
AI my ... So
I'm not sure if that's the reason, but I do.
No, that's absolutely the reason. That's
go.
absolutely the reason.
There you go.
I would assume that someone, a Madison Avenue advertising agency, that's at least $5 million to come up with that name.
There you go.
Anyhow, have you ever heard of the term task masking? If I were to say that to you. Task masking?
I've never heard of it, but I kind of feel like I know where you're going.
Feel like you're going? All right. The TikTok trend for RTO is to look busier than you are.
Yeah. I've seen
Employees are typing loudly or briskly walking around the office to make themselves look busy. And if you want to read about this, it's actually really funny. Worklife.news, and then you get the whole story. But, a couple things come to mind. A, can we quantify fuck off time? Is there a way to kind of do that? If you're going to make me go to the office, then I'm on a task mask. This is what I'm going to do. Yeah. This is a way of me getting back this passive aggressive shit. And I think we've all taskmasked now that we could say a term. I think we've all done this. I mean,
We've done it
at
all
some
throughout
point
our
in our
life.
career, you went to a bathroom break. It took 30 minutes. Like, come on. We've all done this bit.
Yeah.
So, but I just found the article interesting because it's like, okay, instead of fighting RTO, explicitly, this is kind of an implicit
I
or
think people just have
subversive
to
way.
stop fighting RTO.
Yeah. No,
Like, just
I
it's a
don't
job.
disagree.
Like, do it or don't. If you don't want it, get a new job, call it a day, move on. But the task masking, I like it because we all
typing
do
loudly on your keyboard.
Yeah, we all do. But I have seen some of the TikToks and someone on Instagram as well, and they're just like they're doing it a lot, and it is actually pretty cool. So I love it. I love it. All right, Fiverr. We all know Fiverr. Fiverr empowers freelancers to harness the power of AI in their services, in their enhanced services. For those that are watching in air quotes, so they're calling this Fiverr Go. I'm not sure how I feel about this. So they're giving their freelancers on the site access to a suite of tools, AI-based tools, Gen AI tools, audio, voice actors, all of that stuff, right? So they're giving them access to leverage this and use it. And the sell to the buyer is that businesses gain access to a rapid, high-quality content generation tailored by experienced professionals. So a couple things here. One is I'm now going to go pay for someone to do work that I know they're using AI tools and all of this stuff, but they're now using their set of AI tools. So it's like they're out in the open saying, yeah, look, we're not writing this content. We're going to edit the content. We're going to make it better, but we're going to leverage this to do it. Okay, got it. We know that's happening. Now, the other piece to this is that Fiverr is doing this to battle the fact that AI is taking over the freelance market.
Yes, it is.
They have to give their gig workers and their freelancers something to do and a way to combat this. And this is what they're doing. So I think it's a great idea, but I kind of like, from a buyer's perspective, I'm kind of like, I'm buying a human.
If you're gonna have a freelance marketplace, and all of a sudden something like Gen AI comes along, you better give them something to adapt to.
Yeah.
Or you won't have a marketplace.
Yeah. Now, the other piece of this is experienced professionals is how they labeled it.
Okay. I
can use ChatGPT or Blaze AI or any of these others and write content.
Yeah.
It's going to sound like a ChatGPT. It's going to sound like a Blaze unless you know how to use it.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're saying. I like it. I'm not against this at all, but they just launched it. So there you go.
This is a quote, Brian. Park visitors are less safe because we don't have these people working in other capacities, an employee at Joshua Tree National Park, on safety risks that staff shortages from the Trump administration's federal workforce cuts could create for park visitors. So basically they're saying, if you go to Yosemite, you're going to be less safe. So my solution is bring a gun, bring several guns. If you're going to go to a national park, have a arsenal.
Know how to survive.
Well, that's the Boy Scout model, right? Be prepared. You need to know how to camp, but also where to put your food and like all that type of stuff. You want to avoid brown bears? Turns out you can't. You can't have snacks in your tent.
I avoid brown bears by not going to Yosemite and camping.
I don't mind bears. We saw some National Jamboree last summer, or summer of 23. They're. I mean, I have pit bulls, so obviously they're a little bit more aggressive than pit bulls. However, they're kind of, I don't know, man. Like they'll just look at you.
They're not fluffy stuffed animals. Like they're real bears.
Oh no, I'm locked and loaded. I mean, it takes a step. No, I'm gonna shoot it between the eyes. But I think all kidding aside, I think the thing is this is important for Americans that love our national park system, and there's a lot to love. And so just remember, planning your next trip to the Grand Canyon or wherever you're going to go, you're going to need more to be prepared.
More guns.
It solves a lot of problems. Turns
More
out.
guns, and don't fall off the cliff, which are not getting saved anyway. Oh
no.
Apple. I'm going to go back to Apple. So 97% of Apple shareholders say F you. They give the big F you to reject the proposal to end DEI program. So we reported on this back in January, I think it was, where they were urging and encouraging their shareholders to vote against it. Turns out the vote went through and 97%.
That's a big number.
Said no. That's a very big number. That's you can't get much bigger than that. So kudos to Apple. Like I've never used an Apple. Well, I've used an Apple product back in 2011. I was getting an upgrade on my phone. I said, you know what? I'm going to get the newest iPhone, and I did. And I had 11 days to return it. And I got back from the event. It was Icon Infusion Con. I got back in 2011, 10 days. I returned it the 11th day because I just couldn't do it. Couldn't make it work for me. However, my next upgrade time, maybe it happens. So
you never know. You never know. I mean, again, 97%, that's huge. And so I wonder if anybody's done the statistical analysis of phone usage and voting. You know what I mean? Like a simple survey of, do you vote Democrat, Republican? Make things real binary, get black, white. And then say, do you have an Android or do you have an Apple? Because I'd like to see, because now my gut tells me, and it could be way off, my gut tells me that Apple owners heavily skew liberal. No data to support that, by the way. No data whatsoever. I just would think it would be interesting to study. But good for them.
There you go.
A continuation of an Apple story here. Apple is investing $500 million over the next 4 years to expand its manufacturing footprint in the United States, hiring some 20,000 people. So WallStreetJournal.com, go take a look at that. So like yourself, I'm not an Apple fan. I have used Apple products in the past, but I like this. For whatever, I mean, if you're going to add jobs to the economy, kudos. I don't care what we have to do to incentivize that behavior. I'm happy that there's going to be 20,000 people having a job. So now, that said, how will it impact pricing? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it something nominal? Like, okay, your iPhone went from $1,500 to $1,600. All right, that's what it is. Or is it substantial? And so
I don't think it will be.
I hope not. My hope is we can get to 20,000 jobs and it not impact pricing. But anyhow, something to think about. Congratulations to Apple.
Nice job. All right. DoorDash. Hot order DoorDash in New York. So in New York, DoorDash is now going to pay $16.75 million settle tip misappropriation lawsuit.
Misappropriation.
Where'd
it go? It was here.
Yeah. In this case, DoorDash was not transparent, and they stole tips from 63,000 drivers in New York.
That's legit.
Yeah. So what they did was they used the customer tips to subsidize delivery workers' base pay.
But didn't give the tip.
Yeah. So let's cut the tip down.
Wow.
And raise the base. They probably weren't getting the right, but they were probably getting the right amount of money, right? That they were promised. However, DoorDash was not paying that money. It was coming from the customer. So although the same amount of money was going to the driver, $12 for the delivery plus including tip, DoorDash only paid out $2.50 instead of $3.50 because the other dollar came from the customer. So I guess they really technically didn't get paid the same amount of money, which is why they're paying $16
I mean, again, I think that's a bunch of MBAs in a room thinking about how can we make more money, and somebody then has the bright idea of like,
No, I
why don't
think
we?
that was a clerical error. Somebody made a mistake.
You think it was a clerical error?
Oh,
No,
that's not
that
how
was
we.
strategy. Fuck clerical error.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
no, that was a guy
Yeah, of
who
course,
had an
there's
idea,
somebody in
ran a
there. Yeah,
ran a spreadsheet, couple pivot tables, and said we can make more money if we do
yeah,
this.
yeah. No, I could see, this is me justifying stupidity, but I could see someone who's late at night doing these calculations, like, oh my God, it works. This is how we do it. And
Yeah.
it made sense, but they didn't actually see nobody checked the work. And well, there you go.
Here's the darker part of
16.75.
that is there were several different people that had to say yes to that idea.
Yeah, well, they all
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, they all did. And they're paying. Good for them. U.S. Gen Z employees found that social media has also become an important hiring channel, with 60% securing a job or internship via Instagram, 56% through Twitter or X, and 46% via TikTok. So let's see, that's 64, 56, 46, almost more than half on all those. And it made me think, this is kind of what we've all talked about through the generations is adapt or die.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to attract these candidates, then you got to be where they are.
Yeah.
And you got to be creating content. You got to be invested. You got to go there. If you think that you're going to get these folks and you're just going to post on a job board,
Yeah.
I think that's just going to have more. The arc is going down on people using that.
Well, it has been for 15 years. So
100%.
I mean, now it's going to get bigger and bigger, and that's just what it's going to be. All right, we have one acquisition to talk about today. Not many, just one. I'm sure there were more out there.
Didn't find any.
This is all that kind of came across my plate, and it's kind of like okay. So KKR acquires a stake in the HRM platform called Employment Hero, and they've done this from Seek Investments. So this is a private equity deal.
Right.
KKR is acquiring a stake in Employment Hero, which is an Australian HR management program from Seek. Right. Employment Hero, which I've heard of, I haven't seen, I haven't talked to anybody from there. 300,000 customers globally. That's a lot of customers.
Substantial. Yeah.
That's a lot. 250 million ARR. This is going to be more global expansion. And I think we're going to see more acquisitions come out of this. Something's up there, but that's massive. I did not realize they had so many customers.
KKR does not make bad investments, turns out. So good for them. Good for Seek.
Yeah.
And obviously the company Employee Hero. I think a lot of those customers are in Southeast Asia, but I could be wrong because Seek is the dominant. Now it's kind of more that used to be a job board, but it's way more than that now. And with Employment Hero, that makes sense. Good for them. Happy. Ryan, let me throw this one past you. Employees may soon find themselves chatting with AI agents more than human coworkers. Does that shock you?
No.
Okay. Axios.com, you take a look at it. So the whole bit that they were writing about is who's deploying what and why. Like, Salesforce is deploying this and this is what it's supposed to do and blah, blah, blah. I think it's a fit for Gen Z because they grew up true digital natives, not like millennials, half did, half didn't. They grew up with screen time. Like your daughters and my sons, they all grew up with screens. Yeah. And so they're comfortable with screens. And being comfortable with screens, they're comfortable with chatbots. They're comfortable with that type of technology. Now, the opposite is also true. They're not as coherent with like having conversations.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a give and a take here that'll be reconciled somehow. But I don't think it's shocking to say that we're going to be chatting more, all of us will be chatting more with bots than we do with our human counterparts. However, I think some of us are more prepared for that. both the workplaces and the managers and stuff like that. That you're not going to be talking to the people that sit next to you as well.
It's the new workforce. I mean, it's just what it is, right? I mean, the Geo Tracker and the Chevy Metro, well, they're out of production, right?
Yeah.
At some point, shit happens, and look, by the time, I mean, it's normal now, but by the time it becomes normal, as in what we're talking fully,
right,
we'll be out of the workforce, or at least like half dead. Like, wow. I'm just saying.
Happy thought. I got you. Yeah. You're pushing up daisies. Great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Look, hey, this is how we do it on a nice Sunday day.
Harsh.
But is what it is. All right, here we go.
I got another one for you. You ready? AI is enabling Silicon Valley startups to scale operations with much smaller teams. So they have one that they went with, AnySphere. You might have heard of it. You might not have. It's a startup behind the popular AI code editor Cursor. Reached 100 million in ARR with 20 employees.
Good Lord.
Yeah. When I read, it was on the New York Times. So if you want to read the story, go to the NewYorkTimes.com and you can kind of get into all of it. But 100 million with 20 employees. I don't know I don't even care how they're doing it. It's just, yes, check. And I think that the money folks, so first of all, I think it's fascinating, but I think the money folks that we follow, VCs, Ps, Wall Street, whatever, are going to look at that and go, I want my ratios to look like that.
Yeah, wow.
Right?
Yeah. I also want a 6-pack in the next 3 weeks.
Ferrari.
Yeah. Hey, look, I saw a commercial for Tybo the other day. It was like an old commercial. Like, it ain't going to work for me either.
The thing is investors are going to see that and they're going to say that this is how we need to be. So the thing is when you kind of dig into it, there's always been, how can we be more efficient? That's been in business since Henry Ford. Like that's not a new concept of how can we do this and reshape the process and add humans or take humans away, add software, whatever. Like that's never going away. That's going to continue to go on way past when we live. But this is not that. This is substantially different. They set themselves up to do it this way. Yep. Like the company was started with the intent to have few employees, large revenue. So I think it's going to impact the way that, fortunately or unfortunately, I think it's going to impact the way that people that invest look at these things and challenge the C-suite to say, why do we still have all these people?
Every business is going to be different, though. I mean,
100%.
this is clearly a different beast. But all right, let's talk some funding because there were some dollars.
There was some dollars passed away. Let's go. First one out is Smart Suite, raised $38 million to be the final word on enterprise collaboration. So it's collaboration
4 times.
software. I can't and won't. So this is on TechCrunch. So you can go look at it, techcrunch.com. Basically, they're going to use the funding to enhance a no-code management platform, improving HR processes like recruitment and onboarding and employee data management. So that's the whole bit is how can you make things more efficient, which is what we just talked about in the research. And this is one of those things. It's called collaboration, but the output is efficiency.
All right, so there we go. 38 million.
30 million. Good for them.
Yeah. All right. Guide. That's GUIDDE, 2 Ds. Guide raises $15 million to automate software training videos with AI.
Cool.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I looked into this one a bit because it was interesting to me. My hunch has always been that people in training in L&D talk about how wonderful it is. And they love training and they love teaching. I think they hate it.
100%.
I think it's a job to them. And I think
100%.
They love it until they had to sit down and build a PowerPoint or take 90 screenshots of a software process or a workflow. And they're like, I love it. Like, okay, I get it. You love making beautiful PowerPoints. I don't really believe it. I think still today, people in learning in L&D are behind the scenes saying, oh my God, AI is this, AI. They hate what they're doing. They hate the clunky, outdated videos. This is just me talking out loud. So they love this stuff, right? And they should. They should. And so what essentially, let me get the guide. What Guide does is they take software workflows and they turn it into tutorials. So yeah, so this is something where,
that's cool.
Yeah, where are they going with it? I don't know. There's plenty of players out there, SuccessFactors, Cornerstone, Workday, things like that. I mean, I think we're going to see a ton of integrations. I think someone's going to eat these guys up. And I think what we'll see immediately, because this is what happened with Canva, it was like, oh, this cute little design program. And then they added like 98 features overnight. I think that's what's going to happen with these guys. They have a little bit of money now. They're in a hot space. They've got a time frame. And I think we're going to see a lot of features from them. And I think we're going to see some good things.
I love it. Company's name is perfect. How about that?
It's pretty perfect.
It's setting the bar pretty high.
Yeah.
That's not close to perfect or almost perfect. It's
we should make a listing of all the company, like perfect, when, summer.
I mean, it's like people are going through a dictionary going, that seems like a reasonable word. Yeah. All right. So perfect closes $23 million to build superhuman recruiters. So a couple things. Consulted with a company years ago called People Matter. And the first thing I told the CEO, I said, you're setting the bar very high with your name because you say that people matter. Okay, but do they? And if so, you're going to have to fulfill on that. And that's not just for your customers. You're actually going to have to be the best places to work. Your people are going to have to matter. And so this, perfect, okay, again, you're setting the bar very high. And then you're saying we're going to build a super recruiter. Okay. Those are two very high watermark things that you, again, it's $23 million. So they have some money to kind of help them get there. But basically what is, and again, this was citybiz.co is where I found this article. So the goal is to spend the money in agentic AI. Their platform, which automates all the repetitive stuff in recruiting. And, with the goal of allowing recruiters to do what they do best. So recruiters, it's like 80% of this task would be done with agentic AI. And then the most important, most critical, most strategic would still be done by humans, by recruiters. Right. We've been saying that for a while. This one, I think, is one of the first to really double down on agentic AI. And so...
and they won't be the last.
No,
they won't be the last. And someone's going to do it. Someone's going to eliminate this portion, a portion of the profession.
They actually, I thought you would find this interesting, they actually explicitly state repetitive recruitment tasks like candidate sourcing and interview scheduling. You and I talk about interview scheduling all the time. Right. This is the first time I've seen a company actually come out and say, sourcing, low value task.
Right. You know what?
I know. I have the same feeling.
Sourcing's not. See, this is a great debate because 95 sourcers or people in recruiting out of 100 are going to say, no, sourcing is not junior. I don't think it's junior. However, 20 years ago, it made a ton of sense. Right. Today, it can be modified. And unfortunately, it's not going to be there much longer. That's okay.
A lot of it automated. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's okay. And it should be. It's okay. I don't need to spend 97 minutes, every 2 hours or 3 hours and source and create Boolean searches that make me think I'm a black hat hacker. Like, it's cool. Like, move on, grow in the profession. I'm going to get canceled now, so I got to stop.
Yeah, as you should.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
So, I'm going to not ask you a question. I'm just going to close your eyes and imagine. Imagine a small business owner who wants an AI-powered chatbot for customer service, but they don't have the resources, the money to hire AI developers and engineers.
Could you get one out of the box?
Yeah, what do? They just go to Walmart and buy them? Like, how do they do this,
Off
right?
the shelf?
Yeah. So this is where Mira, Murati, comes into play. So she is the former CTO of OpenAI, and she has put together a company called Thinking Machine Labs. They are in process, so they haven't raised it yet. We'll come back and announce it when she does.
All right.
But she is in process of raising $1 billion for her startup, which is going to, with the goal here for what she's doing is to make AI more understandable and accessible to people. So basically 3-4 steps. 1, choose the model you want, tweak the behavior without code, and deploy. So there's other things out there that do similar things right now.
Yeah.
Given who she is and
I'm
giving
not
the
betting
amount
against
of
her.
Exactly. Yeah. Give it. And there are use cases specifically for that she has out there, specifically for human resources and people. And it's all about engagement. It's all about not just answering questions, but really getting personal, like, your private conversations, things like that. So it's a really interesting place. So, go Google it, look it up, because I think this is going to be an interesting one to play with.
Don't bet against the CTO of OpenAI.
Yep.
Workforce management startup First Work raises $5 million. This is on Axios.com as well. So take a look at it. It's basically what First Work is an AI-powered workforce management platform for frontline workers.
Okay.
So the investment's going to basically streamline a lot of the stuff that's clunky in onboarding and working with and managing frontline employees. So the goal is to create more seamless and effective integrations for the candidates, the employees, everybody.
Yeah.
Just make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there are older people that are, tackling a same problem.
Mm-hmm.
But these folks started out with a $5 million seed raise. So they're going after
seed raise.
So, yeah, good for them.
Nice job. All right. Here's another one on didn't raise, almost there, going through it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring this one in because we talked about these guys a while back. This is a company called Figure AI.
Yeah, I remember.
So in 2024, they raised $675 million. Now they did this from Bezos, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Intel. Okay. So now they're in talks to grab another $1.5 billion, bringing their valuation to like $9.5 billion, something like that.
Wow.
The previous company, by the way, the Thinking Machines was like 39 billion or something. Like it was up there. It's a big valuation. So anyhow, so now they're closing on this round. What they're doing is they're developing what they're calling humanoid robots for industrial tasks. So they'll be using them for everything, but they're starting in repetitive manual labor. So things like warehousing, picking, packing, supply chain, things like that. Yeah. So this is real. So think like, obviously Bezos invested. He's going to have these bots, right? Now these are real humanoid, like these aren't just like digital. Yeah. These are full size things you see on like, whatever it was, MIT, those videos where the dogs are running. These are the robots, right?
Right.
They're in the warehouse walking, they're picking boxes, they're putting them in. It's actually pretty slick when you see it.
Fascinated.
Love it.
Absolutely fascinated. Yeah. Again, the development and then the constant kind of making sure that they're doing all the stuff that they, they're going to learn. Yeah. All this stuff. I want to see it. I mean, it might not be in our lifetime, but I want to see a point in which they say no, or they.
Yeah.
They want breaks.
Now, well,
or whatever.
Here's a question. This is my thought.
I'm going out to my car.
Yeah, I'm done. This is my thought here. 50 years from now, whatever, but something in the future, the humanoid robots are so far advanced. They are the only workers.
Yeah.
They are the only work.
What are
we
the
no
humans
longer
doing?
need to work, but we own them.
Do we?
I don't know. But they're paying us somehow.
I think that's actually an ethical AI question because if AI learns from itself, at some point, you don't know what it knows.
Well, yeah, I don't know what my kid knows, and I'm still responsible for them.
Yeah, ish. So it's the think about how much they learn, how fast they learn.
Mm-hmm.
We're teaching them how to do that at one point, and it might be already right now. We don't know what they know.
Yeah.
Now, what you're talking about is, well, we can always pull the plug. Well,
oh no, I'm not. I'm talking about like we don't work anymore.
Oh
The
yeah, no, I
robots
know.
are working. We're getting paid for it.
That was. Did you ever watch that Disney movie, Wall-E?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Basically, everybody's just kind of sitting around fat. And, yeah. Okay.
So anyway,
maybe that's our future.
And like Figure AI is the name of the company, so check it out.
Figure AI. We've talked about them before. Loxo. We talked about this earlier last week.
Mm-hmm.
Loxo, a talent intelligence platform.
Yeah.
Note, not ATS.
Not an ATS.
Secured $115 million to accelerate its AI product development. Yeah. Now, this was a private investment, private equity investment. So it's an investment, but it's private equity is now going to be in there, and they're going to make it more efficient. But what I like about what they're doing, this is from aimgroup.com. So when you're listening, if you want to go read more about what they're going to be doing with the money and stuff, go do that. Loxo has always had a great employee brand.
Always.
Employer brand. Like when they came out, it looked cool.
Uh-huh.
The UI on the tech was cool. Like everything's cool.
It was simple. It was easy, grassroots. Yeah. I loved it. Like Matt Chambers and I mean, lean team, but he was shaking. He was like a noob, like shaking hands with the recruiters and sourcers.
100%.
The team. Yeah.
I like that. I like companies that are built that way in our space. Yeah. So you take that, now you drop in $115 million from private equity to build out its AI, all of its functionality, right? So take all the things they built, got up to this point, now go and either build or buy. And it's probably being a combination of both, where they're going to build it, pay for that, and there might be some acquisitions that happen because of this.
Sure.
So I think it's good for them. First of all, it's great for their customers, because they're going to ultimately get a better product at the end of the day. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Loxo.
Yeah, congrats to Matt and team. So that's it, man. We breezed through this sucker today.
100%.
We got it. We got all the goodies in. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Check us out. Love us, like us, rate us, all that good stuff out there. And we shall see you next week.